Well, good morning everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000. This is a video for Brian 12345 8. What my objective is to share how I like to season my pans. You see how that water just rolls right off? It's a good non-stick surface. The whole pan is. This pan is sealed. So I'm going to start with a brand new skillet here. This is a 10-inch skillet. This is one of those inexpensive Ozark Trails. Now, when it comes to cast iron, there's one thing that I'll recommend, and that is never use dish soap or any kind of soap on these pans. There's one exception that I have for using soap on a pan, and that is the very first time that I get the pan from the store. I use a Brillo, a very coarse one, and I use a little bit of dish soap. And what I'll do is I'll take some really hot water. I like that water to be nice and hot and steamy, and I'll just get a little water and I'll clean this pan. The reason I do this, and again folks, this is only the very first time when I first have a pan, because I don't know what kind of oils and things that they use in the manufacturing process. I don't know. So I'm going to clean this baby up really good with the Brillo. I'm going to get all the junk out of it. And this is going to be the only time that I'll ever use soap on this pan. Give it a good scrub down. Water on, and let's get rid of that. Look at that dirty water. Did you see that? The water was just filthy. So now I'm going to wash. I'm not too worried about the outside of the pan because I'm obviously not eating anything off of that. So I want to make sure that I get all the water off the pan. I'm going to set it upside down. Then I'm going to take it over to the stove and put it on a medium heat. So I set that on the burner and I just wait for that to heat up and get nice and dry. You can see the water on there. I'm just waiting for it to dry. If you have a pan that's really dirty, sometimes what I'll do with those, when I'm going to season them, sometimes I'll take water in them and I'll boil the water in the pan, and what that'll do is that will remove all the seasoning out of the pan for the most part. And then I'll take it over to the sink and I'll put a Brillo against it, more water, back on the heat, and I'll do that several times to remove all the seasoning out of the pan. But I don't need to do that in this case. This is a brand new pan. I just need to dry it right now. Now while I'm drying this pan, I'm also going to do another thing, and that is I'm going to preheat my oven to 450 degrees. Let me show you what's going on over here. I have a fan blowing the air out of the building here. So as soon as I get this thing starting to get hot, kick this fan up on high to really help remove, because this is going to smoke a little bit. If you can do this outside on a barbecue grill or something like that, it's even better. So now I'm going to take my oil, and I like to use just regular olive oil. Some people say, oh, use lard, use vegetable oil, and those things work. Canola oil. You can absolutely use all those types of oils, but in my opinion, I prefer olive oil for the simple reason that I've seen those other oils go rancid before, and I've never seen that happen with olive oil. So I put a small coat of oil in the pan, and then I'm going to take a tiny little piece of material. You don't want to use a paper towel, because if you use a paper towel, you're going to get that hair all over your pan. I didn't use enough oil. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the oil to soak into all the little orifices on the pan. Make a very thin coat. We're going to coat the entire pan, inside and out. Very thin layer. Oh, that looks pretty good. Don't forget to oil up your handle. So we need to season that too. And at this point, I'm going to open the oven, preheated to 450 degrees, and I'm going to pop that baby right in the oven. And I'm going to put it face down. Let that baby bake for about an hour. Let's take a look and see how this thing looks. Things are looking good so far. Yeah, we're starting to get that nice little season. Let's go ahead and put another coat on it. You see the smoke. So we're going to do this process a second time. Same thing. You can already see the difference in the oil. The oil seems to be flowing a little bit better. Everything is really hot, so that's why I'm not using my hands. I've found that these little chopsticks work pretty good for this. Okay, let's flip this baby over. Any of the oil that's in the pan that's too thick, it'll just fall off naturally. So we're just gonna take this and rub it again. Give it another very thin coat. The biggest mistake that I think people make is that they put way too thick of a layer of oil on the pan when they're trying to season it. It doesn't have to be like real thick. If it gets too thick, then you're going to have like this coating, and it's going to be very weird. It's going to be like almost a sticky coating, and it's not seasoning. So there we have our second layer. Oh, that's warm. Get this thing down here. I want to put a little bit more on the handle here. So I'm going to cover it with this one. Everything is still really hot. So we'll set that down. And the pan's going to go in the pot, in the oven for a second bake. Something like this. Again, I like to put them face down so that they can let the oil drain off as the temperature gets up there. Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got here. Look at all that smoke coming out of there. It's a good thing I have a fan going. Let's take a look at this baby. Let's take a close look. So what I want to do now at this point is I just want to check out the pan. Just set it here, and I'm going to let it cool. And you know, you can repeat this process as many times as you want. I usually do about 3 or 4. One of the best ways to tell if this thing's non-stick is to cook an egg on it. The surface is going to be really, you know, an egg will come up real nice. If you got still a lot of texture here, that texture goes away each time you season this pan. Each time you put another layer of oil on it, that texture gets thinner and thinner and thinner. Now if you do a few seasonings and you still have texture here, then what you can do is you can take a piece of sandpaper, about 60 grit, and sand this thing smooth, and then wash it, and then just repeat the whole process just like what I did in this video. Now, just for good measure, I decided to do a third coat. Make sure that this thing is just seasoned very well. I'm using this secondary rag because that first one's hot. I already did the inside of the pan. So here we go. Back in the oven, that'll be the final coating. Let that smoke get out of there. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to let it sit, let it cool, and let's take a look at this one. Yeah, that one feels good too. Feels nice. Look at that. Nice, shiny. Let's see how the water repels against it. See how that water just repels? That thing is now non-stick. So we're going to go ahead and take this pan. See the water bottle?